Thank you very much. Thanks for the opportunity to present the work being done in the European Environment Agency on the adaptation side. We are known also as EEA, so in the past 2 days you have heard from different presentations that we are one of the key users of C3S and other Copernicus services. So I will give you a short overview on how we use climate change projections in the adaptation cycle and our work that we do. First of all, what we actually are responsible for in the climate adaptation team at EEA. We're responsible to provide knowledge on climate change hazards and impacts across Europe, specific to policymakers. We're responsible to support the key EU policies and initiatives, and support the development and implementation of national and subnational adaptation strategies. And this is done through our network of the member states that EEA has under its responsibility. So how do we bring all these different data and information and knowledge together? We bring it under what we call Climate Adapt, the European Climate Adaptation Platform, which is the place of having trusted and up-to-date data and information on adaptation actions and reporting information from the member states under one place. There are 3 pillars in Climate Adapt. One has to do with the policy and implementation part. Then the other one has to do with the evidence base and knowledge, and this is the part where the big database of Climate Adapt is created through the science and development activities going on around Europe. And last but not least, we depend a lot to have a regular update of data and indicators in the platform, and this is done with the collaboration of the Copernicus services, and C3S and Land Monitoring Service is one of them. We have 3 main tools in Climate Adapt to support the adaptation process. One is the European Climate and Health Observatory. It was created specifically to give access more information to climate change related health issues and adaptation to the policymakers in Europe. This was created also in collaboration with C3S and CAMS. Our next product is a much newer product, is the European Climate Data Explorer, and I will present it in the later slides. It's a collaboration again with C3S and EEA, and the main purpose of the Explorer is to provide easy access to the policymakers in Europe to the vast information that C3S has on climate change indicators for various sectors. And I will explain more as we go along. Next tool is the Urban Adaptation Map Viewer that depends a lot on the other 2 tools. It brings together information from the different Copernicus services, and it presents the information and kind of, if we call it, soft adaptation indicators on the urban scale. So how do these all data tools come together in the adaptation process? We have what we call the Adaptation Support Tool, which is the main guideline process for the practitioners, for the users, to design and develop their adaptation process, the adaptation strategies. And it's a stepwise approach, and going from starting from preparing the ground on adaptation and assessing and finding the hazards and the impacts that are related to their area of expertise, and going all the way to the monitoring and evaluation of their actions. So this tool is basically what is used in the reporting process that the member states of the EEA is obliged to do. And the tools, the Health Observatory, the Climate Data Explorer, are complementary information towards their national services and local knowledge. So what do we do with all this information from the reporting process? If you go into Climate Adapt under country profiles, after the reporting, the country profile is created, and we are able to see what are the main hazards that the country is facing, how they are planning to have specific actions, and what's the implementation process. And we are using also this approach in finding also other strategy planning, let's say, especially for the health sector. We have used it also in the health observatory to see if the countries are moving towards new national health strategies with respect to adaptation. So how do we make the practitioners and the policymakers and the users of Climate Adapt to actually use and understand the information on the climate information that we provide? We developed specifically new storylines and tutorials that will guide them from step 1 to step 6, all the way through the adaptation cycle, how to use, and specifically how to use the climate information in Climate Adapt, and where to go and find further more information if they need to. And this was an initiative funded by DG Klima in the last year, and it was done in 5 countries, national workshops in 5 countries, Slovenia, Slovakia, Romania, Bulgaria, and Poland, and it was done in their national language. And we had very nice feedback on the tools of Climate Adapt and why they were important, and they were very interested on the accessibility of this new information that they were having. EEA is very known of creating assessments and updating the assessments and having big paper reports. But the collaboration with C3S and the European Climate Data Explorer help us to move to a new phase of reporting. So with that, we created what we call an interactive report, a new way of presenting the changing climate hazards in Europe. So the latest report was an online product linking back to the Explorer and to other C3S services and indicators to be used from our users. This is a way of updating the report in the next coming years with the new availability and so on. Okay, I need to hurry up. So, focusing on the European Climate Data Explorer, the newest tool in Climate Adapt, as I said, is a collaboration between C3S and EEA. And we have the proof of concept, if we can call it, already online. And now we're going through a new phase with a new contract funded under C3S with Be Open and the Climate Data Factory. And the purpose is here to provide more climate change indicators to the public and harmonize a bit the process, moving from the information of the sector information systems towards the operational services of C3S. So we will have the opportunity to update it also in the future as the operational services will be updated. There is a harmonization process going on to create consistency between reference periods, future periods, emission scenarios across all indicators. And the current version is provides the indicators from different spatial aggregation levels, starting from Europe, going to national, and going all the way down to NUTS 2 level. And a new feature will come soon, presenting also the transnational regions. We will have also integration for the historical representation and going all the way to the climate projections. There will be an update mid-December specifically on this. So all this new development of the European Climate Data Explorer will fit into a new task of EEA, and that is called the EU Mission on Adaptation. And EEA is responsible of creating the new Mission Knowledge Hub. And if you don't know what the Mission on Adaptation is, Carlo mentioned it briefly in his opening presentation. Basically, it's a way of pushing around 150 regions across Europe to be towards climate resilience until 2030. And our goal here is to bring the new development of the Explorer, but also other information from other data sources like JRC and other data providers, and creating more developing inputs for the regional information, and to help these regions to create their own regional climate risk assessment. This is one product, and the other product that is linked to this development together with C3S and the mission is the European-wide climate risk assessment that is also coming and will benefit from all this development. Last slide, if you have any feedback, and also if you want to be, if you know a region that is involved in the mission and want to know more, please contact us. We are always open to feedback and improvements. Thank you very much.